Welcome to Changes Big and Small. This is Damian, your host as we explore what makes change exhilarating. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, I'm following a bit of a different format today. In most of the previous episodes, I've interviewed somebody, but this week, it's just me on the mic. I think you're going to love this episode though. Let's get started. When was the last time that you celebrated your progress towards your goals? We get into the habit of always moving on to the next thing. But research shows that when you stop and celebrate after completing a new action, that helps train your brain to repeat that action. We repeat actions and create new habits because of the benefits that we perceive from that action. So when you stop and celebrate, you're making sure your brain recognizes the benefits. You're using gratitude and savouring to rewire your brain. I did a web search for the role of celebration in developing habits and got over 16 million results. The research I'd like to share with you is from Psychologist BJ Fogg, and he summarizes the role of celebration with 3 words: emotions create habits. He goes on to say that you can celebrate what you remembered, what you're doing, and that you've completed an action. If you celebrate remembering, you're rewiring your brain for that action. The same with doing and with completing. So there are 3 opportunities to rewire your brain with each step you take towards a new habit. I have reason to celebrate. I've shipped an episode of Changes Big and Small every week for the past 13 weeks. If this is your first episode, remember to check the archives and see what might interest you. As I was thinking about my topic for today, I was a bit surprised to realize how much I was smiling as I stopped and thought about my progress with this podcast. This is the length of some full seasons of shows. I'm not sharing this with you to boast, but rather to take the time to feel grateful. And I want to thank you for being part of this journey, whether this is your first, second, third, or any number up to episode 14. This is not a farewell, but a podcast about change will definitely go through changes. I really enjoy chatting with people for the podcast, discussing the changes they've made in their life and sharing their journey with you. I hope that you can relate and draw inspiration or motivation from my guests. I certainly do. These conversations will remain an integral part of Changes Big and Small. What will be new is that I will intersperse episodes of just me on the microphone with episodes where I'm interviewing or chatting with somebody. When I was a teacher, regularly attending conferences, I wished that there was a way to consolidate what I learned at a conference. I wanted to be able to talk about it with someone, to try it out in my classroom and get some feedback, or to just take time to think about the relevance to my own context and work on implementation. My hope is that this new format of Changes Big and Small will help build this support community that we're creating. I'll pull ideas from each interview to discuss. I'll share research about the ideas that guests share and how they help with change. And I'll share some challenges for you to apply these ideas in your own life. Throughout it all, the focus remains on action. The goal is still to share ideas you can use to make progress in your own life in all episodes. I'm really excited about this revised format. I worry a bit that I'm going to run out of things to talk about, but if that happens, I'll pivot. It's really important to get started because once you get started, you'll get new ideas. You can always change things. We actually learn from the process. For For the final segment today, I'd like to extend an invitation to you. I hope that I will be able to share some of your stories. Not everyone wants to be interviewed, but I invite you to be part of the Changes Big and Small experience. How can you do that? Well, there are several ways. Have you been to changesbigandsmall.com yet? If you visit, you'll see that you can click on message in the menu bar and you can let me know one thing you've learned or one thing you've changed after listening to Changes Big and Small. You can also explore the list of book recommendations from guests. When you complete a challenge or accept one of my invitations, I invite you to send a message to Changes Big and Small or comment on the post to share any action that you take. There is a Facebook group to support other people that are on the same journey as you, one of progress. On there, I also share additional resources that can help us make progress. I'm on this journey too, and you're welcome to come and share some of your resources there with all of us. And if you enjoy any of the episodes of Changes Big and Small, or even just the concept, I would love it if you would leave a review for the show wherever you listen to the podcast. And my last idea for today is send your favorite episode of Changes Big and Small to a friend or a family member. If you do want to be interviewed, let me know. Email me at contact@changesbigandsmall.com or use the message link on the website. As I end today, I want to encourage you to find one action, one thing that you've done today that will help you make a positive change in your life, and celebrate it. Then do the action every day for the next week, celebrating each time that you complete it. Celebration could mean taking 3 deep breaths and smiling about the experience, calling a friend to let them know about your progress, skipping or dancing around the room, smiling, or just savoring. It only needs to take a moment, a few seconds. My challenge to you this week starts with choosing an action you're trying to complete to build a new habit. Complete the action today and every day for the next week. Aim for 7 days. Remember that this can be the smallest possible action that will help you create your new habit. It doesn't matter if it's something that you can do in 10 seconds or even 3 seconds. In fact, Fogg advocates the use of tiny habits of change. He defines those as easy behaviors that can be done in 30 seconds or less. For the past week, I've been working on drinking a glass of water as soon as I wake up. It only takes a few seconds. I do want to take a moment to recognize here that the new habit may actually be something that you'd like to stop doing, something you're taking away. Or it could be something that you'd like to start doing, something you're adding. Those are both habits. If you do miss a day, don't make it 2. The quicker you can get back on track, the easier it is to do so. Some people benefit from putting up a calendar and checking off each day that they complete the action. They like the visual reminder and they find it inspiring. If that works for you, use a calendar to see your progress, or use a reminder alarm or a visual cue, whatever will help you complete the action. Try to remove as many barriers as possible, as discussed in episode 12. And don't forget to celebrate with each action you take. If you visit the show notes, you'll see Fogg's TED Talk, and in there he presents a 3-minute challenge that you can use to practice the act of celebration. I'm so happy that you've joined me today for this episode of Changes Big and Small. Don't forget, change starts with one small action. I'm cheering you on. Have a great week.